Hey everybody, this is Propeller Boy. I am back from the void, and I'm going to be publishing videos to my YouTube channel just as regularly as you're used to. So my gaming videos are coming. I've got some great Left 4 Dead footage actually that I'm going to be uploading later today. But for right now, I wanted to do something that was a bit of a pet project. There are all sorts of Rubik's Cube tutorials on YouTube, and pretty much all of them are either terrible or overly complicated, and so I figured that I would show you today the easiest way, that is to say, the fastest way that involves the least amount of memorization to complete a regular Rubik's Cube. So this is going to be a great method. You can go at least half of the way without learning any of the algorithms or move sets. You'll only need to learn 3 to finish it. Before we begin, I'm going to go over a little bit about logistics and convention for the Rubik's Cube. So a couple things you need to know about a Rubik's Cube. First off, the centerpiece determines what the color of that side is going to be, because the centerpieces can never actually move. They're always going to be, no matter what you do, they will always stay in the same spot. See what I mean? So the orange side in the middle, the orange piece in the middle is always going to be the orange side. White piece is always going to be the white side. The red middle piece is going to be the red side, and so on and so forth. Likewise, the corner pieces have 3 sides apiece. In this case, you've got yellow, red, and green. And no matter what you do to it, it will always remain a corner side, no matter what you do. Likewise, these edge pieces in the middle only have 2 sides. This one is red and white, and no matter what you do to it, it will always remain, on the edge. So you can never have an edge piece become a corner piece and vice versa, and the center pieces never move. Now, with regards to the move sets, there's sort of a standard way of notating moves, and so the first thing you need to know is that the sides of the cube in relation to you are named this way. This is the front side, as it's facing me. This is the up side, so U, F for front, U for up. D is the down side, the bottom of the side of the cube. And then you have the left side and the right side. So front, up, down, left, and right. And that's in relationship to the way that the cube is being held. So if I want to make a move, I could either say, let's say right, that's 1 clockwise turn to the right, or I could say right inverted, which is 1 counterclockwise turn on the right side. So notice that like right, a clockwise turn on the right side, and left, a clockwise turn on the left side, are different because, of course, I'm going clockwise in both directions, and so clockwise here and clockwise here are different directions. So without further ado, let's solve this cube, and it's going to be in 6 simple steps. The first of which is to make a white cross on top with the appropriate pieces aligned. Not just any white cross, but the correct white cross. So here we go. Interestingly enough, the easiest way to do this is to start on the bottom. So you go on the yellow side, and what you're going to do is you're going to make it so that you get the, this is called the daisy method. You get the white edge pieces up on the 4 edge pieces on the yellow side. So I've got one of them here. Let's see, where's another one? I've got another one here, so I'm going to move it up here. Now I've got another one here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the top side here to open up a slot for this to go. A lot of the logic you're going to use in solving the first bit of this cube, using my method, it involves logic. So if it needed to go from here to here, you need to make sure that this is actually a free spot, because if it were like if it were here, say we're going like this needs to go up here, but as soon as we do that, we dislocate this. So what we're going to do is we know that this needs to go upwards. We're just going to rotate the top side, move this here, and we have 3/4 of our daisy. And if the edge piece is on the bottom, on the white side, that's actually easiest because you put it directly below 3-dimensionally where it needs to go, and then you just do 2 turns and it's there. So now we have this daisy, this yellow center with white petals. And what we're going to do is we're going to match up each one of the edge pieces with its corresponding side. So we've got white and red, and this needs to be white and blue. It needs to be blue here. So we match up the blue, and then we just turn that all the way to the bottom. Okay? Likewise, we're going to do that with all of the other sides. So this is the green and white piece, so that needs to go to the green side, and then we'll turn this to the bottom. 2 turns. This is the red side, so it needs to go to the corresponding red middle side. We'll turn that to the bottom. And this is the orange side, so it needs to go here, and we turn it to the bottom. And the point of that is that's the easiest way to make sure we have the white cross on what is now the top. We're going to put the white side facing upwards. And not only that, but we have these white pieces obviously belong in the top, and they're in the right order, because you'll see it's white on the white side and red on the red side. This is incorrect. A white piece that goes here but has mismatched colors for its side, that's incorrect. So that's why we do this daisy method. To make it, you can do this actually in one step, but by just configuring it so it ends up this way, doing it with the white side on top. But we're not going to do that right now because the daisy method is easier and it doesn't take a whole lot of time. So that's our first step, is to get the white cross. Our second step is to get all of the corners onto the white corners onto the top layer. So this, by the top layer, I mean like as the cube is facing us on top, this is the top layer here. This top layer, middle layer, and bottom layer. The first thing to check once you've done the daisy method is to make sure that you actually have, with the white cross, all of the top layer pieces in the right position according to that middle piece that dictates what color the side is going to be. So now we're going to find the white corners. And the first thing you want to do is you want to find some. I've got 2 of them positioned really well right here because they're on the bottom. You want them on the bottom layer. And so this is a white corner. It's also a green and an orange corner. This actually happens to be directly in the right spot for it to be because it's in between the orange and the green sides. So we want a white corner in the bottom layer, and in this case, because it's green and orange, pardon me, it corresponds to the green and orange side. We are going to put this up here because this is where this belongs. So now we can't just turn it upwards because then we lose our edge piece, right? So here is this great corner move that we're going to be doing. It's 4 steps. You're going to be doing it a lot. This corner, we want to go on top because it's on the right-hand side. We turn it away on the bottom. We turn the right side inverted downwards to prepare this corner where it ultimately needs to go, because this is where we want it to go. We load it by turning the bottom back, and then we bring the right side in the clockwise turn up to the top. Okay? So that way now we actually have this corner in the right spot. It corresponds to, these 2 correspond to their respective middle sides. So we're good to go. Now, we have, let's see, here's another one. It's positioned very wonderfully. It's in the bottom. We have a white corner on the bottom layer here, red and green. So we need to turn that so that it corresponds to the green and red sides, red and green. So now we know that this needs to go up here. So we do the same thing. We're going to turn it away, prepare, load it into its spot, and then turn back up. Okay, everybody got that? So now we have 2 corners. We have this corner properly positioned and this corner properly positioned. So now this guy, this is a blue and orange corner. So we're going to turn him to the blue and orange side. So it obviously needs to go up here. Now it's the mirror image of what we did before, but it's the same idea. We're going to turn it away from where it wants to go. We're going to bring the top down to prepare it. Load the bottom layer back in and turn it up to the top. And then we have this corner in the right spot again. Now we have one more corner, and this is one of the 2 scenarios that you're going to encounter if this white corner is actually on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what to do if you have a corner on the bottom. It's pretty simple. You put it directly underneath where it needs to go. We want it to go here, so it goes right underneath. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn the top layer on that side downwards, do 2 turns on the bottom layer, and then bring this back up. And what that's going to do is it's going to put that white corner into the bottom layer. Everybody with me? So then we just move it into the right spot, which is right here, and then we do the corner move. We turn it away. We prepare. We load the bottom layer, and we turn it up to the top. And there we have all of the corners, and we have the whole top layer completed. Now there was one scenario here which we didn't actually encounter, and that is where we have this corner. I'll do this. We have this corner, the white corner on the top layer. And so we want it to be on the bottom layer, but that's not a problem. What you're going to do is you're going to just take that, and it doesn't matter where it is, you don't need to position it, just take that, turn it down, and then take the bottom layer and we're going to turn it away and bring it back up. And then that's going to put it on the bottom layer, and we are set to do that corner move one more time, which is turn it away on the bottom layer, prepare, load it, and turn it back up. So there we go. That's all the possible scenarios you're going to encounter. They're either going to be already in the bottom layer, the optimal position. They'll be on the bottom, which is where you do that whole thing where you bring it down, do 2 turns, and then bring this back up, and then it'll be in the bottom layer. Or it's in the top layer, in which case you turn it, move it away, and then just the moveset that we just did. And then that will properly place these white corners into the bottom layer so they can easily be loaded up onto the top. So now that we have the top layer taken care of, we want to take care of the middle layer. And this is actually just 4 pieces, because remember, the middle pieces never move. So this is solved, this is solved, this is solved, and this is solved. And you'll know that you've got it correct up to this point if you have all whites, and then you have these little Tetris pieces. You know what I mean? These little common Tetris pieces. In this case, we have a little more, but see these Tetris pieces there. So what we want to do for this, to position these 4 edge pieces, 1, 2, 3, and 4, is we're going to take a look on the bottom layer, and we're going to make, you have to find a piece. There'll be an awful lot of yellow on the bottom here. We're going to find a piece that has 2 colors that aren't yellow in the bottom edge. Okay, so in this case we've got, for example, green and orange. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that over to the green side, and that makes a green T. We've completed our Tetris and made a T. So now we have green, we have our green T, and on the bottom, the color of this side dictates, this piece, dictates which way we're going to do the corner move. We're going to do that same corner move that we did. We're going to do it twice. And in this case, because it's green and orange, we know that this piece actually needs to go here, so that we have green and orange, and that corresponds to these middle pieces, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to treat it as though it were this corner going on top. We'll do the same move once we have this T. Because this needs to go to the right, or to the left rather, we're going to turn it away. We're going to bring this layer down to prepare it, load it, and turn it back up. Now by doing that, we've actually displaced this white corner. So then what you do is you turn the cube to find that corner, and we just know obviously that it needs to go back here. We do the corner move again. Turn it away, bring the right side down to prepare it, bring the bottom layer here to load it, and then bring it back up top. And then we have this edge piece is now correctly put in this layer, okay? So then we're going to repeat this process. And we can't use this because there's yellow. We can't use this because there's yellow. We can use this one because it's green and red. So we're going to make the green T again. In this case, we've got more than that already now, but we have the green T. And this needs to go to the red side, so we're going to turn it away on the bottom layer, prepare, load, and bring it back up, but then we displace this corner, so we turn the cube to find that corner, and we're going to turn that corner away, bring the left side down to prepare it, bottom layer back to load it, and up we go. And then we have this piece correctly slotted. So now we have one more that we can do. We've got this red and blue piece. Notice that we can't use any of the others because we've got yellow here, and yellow here. We're going to make the red T, and because it's blue, it needs to go to the blue side, so we are going to turn it away from the blue side. Bring down the right side to prepare it, load it, bring it back up, but we've displaced this corner, turn the cube, turn it away, prepare, load, and bring it back up to the top. And so now, We have one more here. We have this, we can't use this piece or this piece because, sorry, this piece because it's got yellow on it. This piece has yellow on it, so does this piece. We got one more that doesn't. It's this blue and orange piece, so we're going to turn this to the blue side, make the blue T. Because it's orange and we want it to go here, we have to turn it away, bring it down, load it, and bring it back up, and we displace the top corner. So we turn the cube and we do the mirror image of that, we turn it away, bring down the left side, load it, and bring it back up. And we have the top two layers solved. So one scenario you might run into is, this doesn't happen all the time, but it happens sometimes, is that all the pieces that you want to use, these bottom edge pieces, they all have yellow on them, and you can't use them. Yellow, 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 and yellow. So in which case, what you're going to want to do is you do the same moveset. It's just a matter of orienting the cube in the proper spot. So this edge piece is obviously out of place because this needs to be, it's the proper piece, but it's in the wrong orientation. But it's obviously out of place. So we're going to treat this as though we have a proper red T here. And we're going to do what we always do. We're going to turn the bottom away, prepare, load, bring it back up, and then we displace the corner. So we take the white corner, we turn it away, prepare, load, and bring it back up. And what that does is it swaps the bottom edge piece and the left edge piece, or the right edge piece in this case, pardon me. I forgot we turned the cube. So now you'll notice that we do have one that we can use. We have this red and blue piece. So in that case, we just find the appropriate T. It's blue, so it needs ultimately to go over here. So we're going to turn it away first. Prepare, load, bring it back to the top, and put the corner back, turn it away, prepare, load, bring it back to the top. And now we have the bottom layer solved, and that's what you do if all the pieces on the bottom are ones you can't use. So the next step involves, we're halfway done. The next step does involve having some algorithms, but they're generally pretty simple, and I will make sure that I list them, and they'll be in the video description too. At this point, we've done the whole thing with the white face on top. We're going to flip it so that the yellow face is on top for right now. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get all of the yellow on top. And we do that in 2 moves. First off, by making a yellow cross, and then by putting all the yellow corners on top. And it doesn't matter where they are. We're just going to get them all on top, and then we're going to worry about getting them in the right spot. So once we are getting to our final layer here, just this top layer, what you're going to want to do is you're going to see 3 scenarios. One of which is that you have, never minding the corners, you have 2 adjacent edge pieces. It could look like this, or this, or this, with any of the yellow corners in, but you want it to be in this position. So you turn the cube so it's in this position. That's one scenario. The other scenario you might run into is that you'll have just a line, and so that's 2 edge pieces that are not adjacent, but they form a line. And it could look like this, but you want it to be positioned vertically. Or sorry, horizontally, pardon me. You want it to be positioned like this. And for either of those scenarios, the third scenario you might have is that it looks like this, and you just have one, you might have corners, but you have the one yellow piece in the center, and you have none of the edge pieces, okay? So it might look like that, it might look like this, or it might look something like this, where you have the 2 adjacent edge pieces in which we're going to have it in this in these positions, looking at the top, at right here and right here. So for all 3 of those, you are going to do the same algorithm. You are going to turn the front side, up, right, up inverted, right inverted, front inverted. And that's going to give you one way or another this this T, the cross, pardon me, the yellow cross. Now, again, if we do it where there's another scenario, where, for example, we have just, never minding the corners, we've got this horizontal line. We just do the algorithm twice. Front, up, right, up inverted, right inverted, front inverted. And that will give you this scenario in which we have the 2 adjacent edge pieces, never mind the corners, you have the 2 adjacent edge pieces. We put them in this position where they're here and here, and then we just do it again. We do front, up, right, up inverted, right inverted, front inverted, and that will give us our yellow cross. So now that we've done that, we're going to want to put this, we're going to want to get all of the other corners on top of here. So we have our yellow cross, and the next algorithm you're going to have to memorize is actually, it's a very easy one, it's very fun to do, and what it'll do is it'll make it so that you will flip these corners so that the yellow goes on top, but it won't mess up anything else. It won't mess up your cross, it won't mess up the bottom two layers that you have correctly done, and so you're going to run into three scenarios here. The first of which, I'm just going to mix it up, is that you have no yellow corners, okay? And and what you're going to want to do, the algorithm is always the same. You just need to know how to orient the cube. So scenario number one is you have no corners, in which case what you're going to do is, looking at the yellow cross, you're going to have it so that you have a yellow side here. So you've got your yellow cross and a yellow side in this corner facing this way, facing to the left, okay? That's scenario number one. And scenario number two is that you have one corner. And in that case, that's pretty easy. Then you just orient the cube so that corner is on top at the bottom left, and then you just do this algorithm, which I'm going to show you. The third scenario here is that you have multiple corners. So you've got two corners, okay? In which case, what you need to do is you need to find it so that you have a yellow side here. Not here, which is where we had it before. If you had no corners, you look for the yellow side to be here. In this case, we want the yellow side to be facing us right here. So the algorithm you're going to do, you'll end up doing it up to 3 times, and every time you reorient the cube so that it's done properly. So that algorithm is right, up, right inverted, up, right, up, up, right inverted. And in this case, we don't need to move the cube again because we have it in the right position. So we do that same, because we have our yellow cross in the one corner. It's here on the left side. We're going to do right, up, right inverted, up, right, up, right inverted. And that again gives us one corner. We're going to flip it over so it's in this position. And this will be the last time that we have to do the algorithm. Right, up, right inverted, up, right, up, right inverted. And that will give us all of our yellow on top. So it's just a matter of orienting the cube in the right position every time you do this. No matter how many times you do this move, it will never actually screw up anything else that you have on the bottom two layers. And so if you do it in the wrong position, like, because again we have the yellow cross, and we're supposed to have it in this case so that this side is here, but if we do it this way, so we have a yellow side facing us, that's not a problem. We're not going to screw up the cube by doing it this way. We just keep, now we have the two corners, we just keep doing it where we know we have it oriented in the right spot. So multiple corners, we want to have a yellow piece facing us this way, there we go. Right, up, right inverted, up, right inverted, and we have the corner in the right spot. I'm just doing it very quickly. You've seen me do this move a whole bunch of times. Very easy to do. You do it all with the right hand essentially. And after doing it 3 times, up to 3 times, repositioning it every time, you will have all of the yellow on top. So now what we need to do is we have 2 steps left. We want to get the corners in the right spots, and we want to get the edge pieces in the right spots. So taking a look at the corners, we're going to see, first thing you do is you check to see if you have 2 corners that are the same, like blue, blue, orange, orange, green, green, what have you. In this case, we don't. It doesn't really matter. That's one of 2 scenarios. The one scenario is that you're going to have that, and the other scenario is that you're not. The algorithm is the same. So if you don't have any of the corners, it doesn't matter which way you orient the cube. You just do this algorithm, and this is the most complicated one. Right inverted, front, right inverted, back, back. You see I'm turning the back of the cube. Right, front inverted, right inverted, back, back, right, right. There's an easy way to remember this. I'll talk about it in a second, and of course it'll be written down. You can use a cheat sheet for now. What this will do is this will ensure that you have at least one instance where you see we have correct corners here, green, green, and by definition they're going to match the other side. So this is scenario number 2. You might already be here. In which case we're going to do the same algorithm, but we're going to take our corrected side, in this case with the 2 proper green corners, and we're going to move it to the back facing away from us. And we're going to do that same algorithm, which is right inverted, front, right inverted, back, back, right, front inverted, right inverted, back, back, right, right. And then at that point, all you need to do is match up with one turn. You will have all of the corners in the right spot. So there's a mnemonic device you can use to remember this particular algorithm, because never minding which way you turn it, it's RFRBB, RFRBB. That's referee, back, back, referee, back, back, and then you just remember that there's 2 rights at the end. So that's one way. You have to remember which way to turn it, but basically it's RFRBB, RFRBB, RR. So you can start using a cheat sheet, and then you can move towards using the referee mnemonic device, and eventually you just won't need it at all. So now we have all the corners in the correct spot, and all we need to do is move these edge pieces into their correct respective spots without screwing up the rest of the cube, and we are done. There's 2 scenarios you're going to run into. So here we have scenario number 1, where none of the remaining edge pieces are correct. They're all out of place. We don't have a single side outside of course, the yellow and the white on the top and bottom that is actually solved. And it's no problem. It just means it's one more step, but we do the same algorithm regardless of the 2 scenarios. You're just going to have to do it twice. Now, in this case, it doesn't matter which way the cube is facing. I mean, obviously keep white on the top, yellow on the top and white on the bottom. Well, we can do it with, say, the red side. It doesn't matter. We'll just use that. This is the algorithm you use. Front, front, up, left, right inverted. That makes these 2 stripes. Front, front, left inverted, right to put those 2 stripes back to the top. Up, front, front. Okay? And what that will do is it'll give one completed side, and the other 3 sides are still not complete. Now that's scenario number 2, is that you have one edge piece that's correct. The rest of them are out of alignment. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the completed side, you face it away from you, and you do the same algorithm. Front, front, up, left, right inverted, front, front, left inverted, right, puts those 2 stripes back at the top, up, front, front. And you'll either have it solved there or you won't, but if you don't, you do the exact same thing. You put the red side, the solved side, sorry, to the back. It's our completed side. It's going away from us. The algorithm one more time. This will do it. Front, front, up, left, right inverted, make the 2 stripes, front, front, left inverted, right, put them back up to the top, up, front, front. And there we have a completed cube. So you'll find at the beginning that you need the cheat sheets obviously quite a bit, and there are faster methods of even using the beginner method, but this is the only one that involves 4 algorithms and just the understanding of how to do that corner move. And so you can do most of it by just using logic and then just those 4 algorithms. And this is essentially the method that I use to get times that are, generally speaking, with only having about 4 or 5 hours under my belt of practice time. The average time for me runs about 90 seconds, which is certainly nowhere near the world record time, which I believe is about 6 seconds. But I can do it without thinking, and I have only memorized those 4 movesets. So I hope this was enjoyable. Thanks a lot, folks. We'll see you later.
Hey boomer buddies, give me a hug.